This year at the WTC, orcs are the master of war. As we look at the Great WAAAGH, they bring many dispositions from around the world. As orc players, war bosses represent the WAAAGH, we are able to see the diverse lists and dispositions that were brought forward. So even though the vast majority of the field is taken hold, we actually have lists of every disposition. Therefore, I wanted to take a look at those. So I do at least have one list from every disposition. And then, of course, I have lists from other dispositions as well. This is live, so I interact with live chat. What's up, you gets that are here? Audio's fixed. What's up? And shout out to the Rewatch gang. So there's some fun lists out here. Some were wonky. So I just want to talk about a bunch of different ones. This should give some creativity and some guidelines for at least what people are thinking for how you play different quote-unquote dispositions. As I know, the majority, based off the stats that we look at on WAAAGH Wednesdays, show that the vast majority of you guys are playing Take and Hold anyways. So even though I will look at a Take and Hold list, I have every disposition. Before we jump back into the video, transporting a full Warhammer army, especially an orc horde, can be a battle in itself. The oTTRPGo large magnetic miniature carrying case is built to carrying armies over 3,000 points with adjustable metal trays to give you room for everything from boys to vehicles, and your biggest centerpiece gets. Once your bases are magnetized, your model stays secured to the trays without being packed within foam. And because a massive army gets heavy fast, the case includes a detachable trolley handle and wheels, so you can roll the wall into your local battle. Check it out using my affiliate link in the description. It helps support WAAAGH tactics at no additional cost to you. Protect your models, save your backs, and roll into the next call of the WAAAGH. So we move on to Purge the Foe. This is actually the disposition with the lowest, from what I'm aware of, from what I've seen, representation. So the least amount of orc players were playing to Purge the Foe. This might actually be the only one, to be honest. I don't know if I've seen another one. So shout out to John Starvocalis. Sorry, guys. So that being said, and somebody's saying right now too, yeah, don't worry, dude. We're gonna see the recon list you're talking about. Yeah, I think that's the one I pulled up right here. But I think if there's more, I think I have a bunch of duplicates of dispositions, just so you guys know, for Rewatch game. But for this Purge the Foe disposition, we have the Bullet Boys with the new gets on the block with the Equatorial Horde. Yeah, so shout out to the Discord members, right? We were talking about this matchup as someone's making this and he's taking this list as local events. And you know, this is pretty awesome in theory. It's one of the less looked at ones because people are like, well, I'll just play Freebooter or whatever for the Equatorial Horde. But Bully Boys was pretty awesome. Just take boy bricks or mobs, whatever, and then scout forward and then bring in Mega Knobs after. So let's take a look at this list. It's the only Purge one from what I've seen, but it's a pretty exciting one in my opinion. You know, a lot of mind games for the enemy, and your list game plan's pretty straightforward here. So we have Gazgul Thraka, a Pain Boy, and then a Big Boy Brick as Unit 1. Unit 2 is a War Boss with Big Gob, a Pain Boy, and 20 boys, of course. Unit 3, War Boss with Cunning Hunter. So now you actually have a reactive move on the Bully Boys. I find that to be awesome. A Pain Boy, and then another Boy unit for that third unit. The fourth unit that acts kind of like a boy mob as well, which will also have built-in scouting, is Zagra Wartsnaga. So now you have Zagra. He does have the Gretchen. I mean, the Zagra, the Run Herders, because now you know you can choose not to pay for those guys and have 10 points lower. As Unit 4. And then his Unit 5 is a brick of Mega Knobs with twin kill saws, and then a Mega War Boss and Mega Armor with a teleporter. So there's always back and forth on this that I love to talk about with people. With this, do I bring a truck for my War Boss and Mega Armor so it's actually on the field when I want it to be, depending on the matchup, and I can just call the wall and get him in the fight? Or do I teleport and use him as a QRF, like a quick response unit, where I take an assessment of the field and then I bring in this teleporter unit? I'm a fan of having the teleporter option. You know, gives the enemy, kind of keeps the enemy honest. Can set up heroic interventions. It gives you a benefit to actually being somewhat aggressive, force an enemy to screen. It's a good stuff. So generally, I like it. And then also another thing you always talk about is twin kill saws, right? The one thing I'll say here is, yes, I know you get a low amount of hits, and I know the hits are unappealing and unexciting, but 3 AP and almost spooning on every single hit you get is quite a good turnaround result. So I really do still like twin kill saws for most of the time I'm going into fights. And if I'm going into like Terminators, which are popular and a lot of them are 4 wounds, you know, if you're going to like Space Wolf Terminators, right, they're T6, innately -1 to wound. So you're like, okay, well, I'm strength 12. So when you're on 2s innately, -1 will be 3s, but I'm twin link, so I'm re-rolling. And then I'm -3 AP. So even with your armor of contempt, you're still taking you to your invuln. So of course you might only put 10 to 12 wounds on them, but they're all going to be taking them on their invulns. They're going to fail like half of them. So you might kill about 3 or 4 Terminators, depending on, you know, how that spikes, give or take, because you're going to at least re-roll hits and such. So don't underestimate twin kill saws, even though I know they suck for volume. In the meta right now, like if you go into Vitrix Guard, for example, another unit that if they don't use armor of contempt, they're taking 5 up armors because they don't have an invuln, from what I remember. I guess unless they're Librarius, and then they might have one now, I guess. So whatever. Then you have a Gretchen unit and a Mando. So high. Oh, and WAAAGH. I didn't mean to overlook you, WAAAGH. So this is pretty straightforward for a purge, right? I'm scouting forward, like 3 mobs of boys, Zagrod scouting forward, and then I'm dropping in a bag and a brick wherever I can find it on the field. And then remember, one of those is a gas brick. So I found this very exciting. So shout out to the bully boys that are going to get some play out here. And from what I understand, it is the only Purge the foe list from the WTC for orcs. If I miss one, let me know. Maybe I'll find it. You know, shout out to Rewatch Game. Maybe they'll let me know. And yeah, don't worry, chat. I see you guys with the double stomp. I have that list. Yep, I have that list up here that I'm gonna pull up for you guys. But first, we're gonna get through every disposition, and then I'll pull up all the crazy lists that I found, because these are just lists that I'm like, okay, these are the ones that I think are gonna be relevant. So, you know, I don't know how far teams will go, example and such, but I think it is nice that people who have been playing with bully boys, I think this is a great kind of list for like an RTT, where you're like, I'm just gonna go play. I want a straightforward game plan. I haven't got a lot of reps in. I just want this edition to go. Boom. I take on my bully boys. I take my Equatorial Horde. I scout forward. I wah, boom. I wah, boom. I just keep getting into fights. Now, the hard part is having the backbone to have all those boys, I guess. So it's not that casual. You still have to be able to play with that many and have that many built up. But as for game plan, boom, very straightforward. Fun thing is I was hoping in my heart sometimes for banner knobs. So I've seen some of these lists where they have banner knobs. Didn't end up this way though. Maybe you want the pain, the damage from it. You're already gonna have an invuln, so being T6 isn't that big of a difference. So a good conversation there. Nonetheless, his opinion is, who thinks a week's long enough time? So nonetheless, awesome Purge the foe list, and I'm glad we at least got to see one, because I remember when I was going through everything, I was like, I ain't seen one Purge the foe list yet. But that goes to what our channel, you and me, our initial assumptions were when we were looking at every orc disposition when it first dropped, and I was like, I like Dread Mob, I like the Hunt, because Dread Mob used to be Purge. The Hunt, I like Bully Boys, but I don't like Purge for orcs. And I don't think orcs like Purge. And at first, people were using it and we were getting results, maybe because points and, you know, stuff like that, or just skews, whatever it may be. But nonetheless, you know, Purge is the one that has the least amount of representation, and even as time passed, the least amount of play. So we'll see if that changes when our codex drops. But as of this time of the recording, we'll know next year, next WTC. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!